Okay. You came to this video so that you could listen to... You came to this video because you wanted to learn lightsaber twirls. Well, let's get on with it. So, I'm going to start out. There's a bunch of different ones. So the first one is the basic twirl. The other one is the backwards basic twirl. Next one would be a figure eight. Then the backwards figure eight. The next one would be the side ones, like this, and then the backwards side ones. After that, you've got the senseless, or the obiani, whichever one you want to call it. And then after that, you have the lotus, which is one that I'm working on because I don't really think that this is how it's supposed to look, because it just looks like I'm doing this. So, anyways, I'll just do the half lotus, which is just this. So, I'm going to start off with the basic twirl, which is just this one. Now, how do you do this one? Well, first of all, you must have a loose grip. So, you have a loose grip here, like this. You let it fall, and then you bring it back up. So, have a loose grip like this, you let it fall. After that, you have to bring it up so you're like this. So from here to here. So like this. And then you catch it. So it looks like that. I'll do it slowly. That's what it looks like. After that, you've got the backwards one. Same principle, except you're just doing it backwards. So, like this. So bring it backwards and catch it. Looks like this. Same thing as this, just backwards. So, loose grip, let it fall down, and then catch it. So, you get to this position here, flip your hand over so you're like this, then flip your hand so it's facing down, and catch it. There's probably more in-depth tutorials on how to do this, because I'm not going to go that in-depth, because what I'm basically trying to do is show you how to do the slashes kind of things, because in most of the movies you get a lot of this action, and the occasional that. So, I'm just basically, I'm going to lightly go over everything, but go over it enough so that you guys get the basic idea. So, once you get, oh, that doesn't look right. Never mind. So, once you get the basic idea of this, that's when I can move on to the figure eight. Okay? Figure eight is a basic spin, and then you bring it down and do a figure eight. Okay? Every time you get to this side, you're going to want to do a basic spin. So basic spin, bring it down, around, and into another basic spin. Now don't just keep it so that it's like this, okay? Bring it so that you kind of sheath it. So that's another way to do it. So bring it down like that. So basic spin, into sheath, into take it out, and then keep repeating that one. Okay? Like that. Same principle, but with the backwards one, which is this one. Okay? So, do a basic backspin, but instead of leaving off at here, you leave off over here. So, instead of doing this, so if you had a forward one, you'd normally stop here. With the backwards one, stop over here. And then you bring it down into sheath, and then up. And keep doing that. So, backwards, 1, 2, 3 for the sheath, and bring it back. And keep doing that. Next off is the side ones. Same principle as the figure eight, except you're just starting off the twirl behind your back, so like this. You just do the twirl behind you. instead of in front of you. Your hand position is the same, but your arm position is not. So you just do the figure 8, looking this way. And you also can do the same thing with the backwards figure 8, facing this way. Okay. After you have both the forwards and sideways ones, that's when we can do another one. It's not another figure 8, because I think I just taught you all the figure 8s. Next one would be the grip switch, or the blade switch. I don't know what to call it. Which is that. I'll do it again. Now, in order to do this, you have to do you can't do it the other way. You cannot do it with a back spin. You have to do it with a forward spin. So one forward spin. Once you get here, that's when you change your grip to a scissor grip. Alright? With a scissor grip. So, spin, and then after you get here, scissor grip, and let it fall down, and catch it so that you're still like this, but put your thumb around so that you have an OK sign, like this, and that's when you can get a full grip on it. Okay? So it should look like this. Like that. After that, you also... Oh wait, no, I haven't taught you all the figure 8s. I lied like 2 minutes ago. There's also the backwards figure 8. Now this one isn't too complicated, as you don't have to worry about starting it off with a spin. You just have to... It's standard grip, and you just have to draw a figure 8. Like this. Now how do you get out of this? Well, you do that. And I'll show you what that is. So, you have to do one figure 8. So, 1. And once you get to here, that's when you switch your grip to a scissor grip. Okay? That's when you switch it to a scissor grip. And you let it fall. And then you bring it back up. And then you catch it with your thumb, so that's your middle finger and your thumb, and put it into a standard grip. So, it looks like this. Alright, I'll do it again faster. And I'll do it slower once more. Figure 8, scissor grip, let it fall, bring it back up, catch it with your middle finger and your thumb, and standard grip. Okay, this. Now, since now you know all the proper figure 8s, now I can move on to something else, and also you know the grip switch. I can move on to something else. It's called the senseless. This. Before we move on to that, this video is sponsored by NordVPN. No, I'm just kidding. It's not sponsored by anything. I forgot to mention. I don't know if I did mention this. The assisted twirls. I'm not sure if I mentioned those. I don't think I did. Anyways, if I did, I'll just go over them lightly. So the forward assisted one, you have to don't move this hand, but you push so that you have your back hand here. Push again, flip your hand, and catch. So like this. Actually, I don't really think you have to move your hand at all. You don't really have to move your hand at all, but it's a little more comfortable too if you just flip your wrist around it. So it's like that. Okay, this would be used for like a slice attack. Now, the assisted back twirl is a little bit different. So you have to start off with your back hand, and once you get here, flip your hand so it's over that way, and catch it. So like this. Like that. So it should look like this. This can also be used this can also be stopped halfway, so you're like this. So you can do a little stab behind or whatever, so it'll be like that. Alright, that's the assisted ones. Now, onto the senseless. Looks cool, it's not that complicated, but it's kind of hard to learn because it looks complicated, and your brain kind of tricks you and be like, yeah, but that looks impossible, how are you doing that? But I'm doing it, so it's not impossible. So, basically, I'm going to start off with a forward twirl. Forward twirl, and then you bring it behind, like this, you twist it, and you sheath it, okay? So like this. Alright, I'll recap again. So, forward twirl, bring it behind and sheath it, so that you're like this. After you get here, that's when you unsheath it, bring it around. You're kind of like doing a little figure eight here, because in order to restart it, you have to do the twirl again. So you are doing a figure eight, kind of, but you don't need to think about that. So, twirl. Sheath it, and then bring it out. So it should look like that. There are 3 ways of doing this, or well, technically 4, but there's 3 I'll be going over with. One is the normal senseless, the other one is a higher senseless. Wow, I just dropped it. Basically, the other higher senseless is you stop it right here instead of here. Alright, and the other one is just like a senseless spin. So, you now know the senseless sheath is what I'll call it. The next one is the one that I'll call the senseless salute, because you end off here, and some people prefer flipping things like this. So you end up in this position, which is a Shingeki no Kyojin salute or Attack on Titan salute. Besides the point. But some people prefer to flip with their arm out like this. Don't know why. Apparently it's more comfortable to them, but it makes sense to call it the salute. Endless, because, you know. Anyways. You do a normal spin, again. Normal spin, and then you do the same sheath, except not stopping here. Stop here, okay? Like this. And then you bring it out. Same principle as the normal one, except you bring it a little higher. This one, ignore that. Alright. This one is more of a defensive one, because if you're trying to block something from behind, you have full coverage here, and you can block it. This one is just the kind of flippy way. So, other one is just spinning around when you do the actual thing, and then you unsheath it. So that one is just adding a spin to it. So you do a normal twirl, you start your spin when you're sheathing it. 90 degrees to your spin is when you should have it this way sheathed. 180 degrees is when you should have it this way. The other one is when you should start bringing it out, and this is when you should restart at the start back here. So it would look like that. Now you don't have to do that. It's just comfortable to do it, because you're bringing your arm forward. So, yeah, that's this one. Don't do it too much, because you're going to get dizzy, like I am right now. Next one would be called the Lotus, which is just a senseless added in with something else. So you do your normal senseless, and once you're back here, you do this. Alright, and then back into normal. So I'll teach you. I'll do the half Lotus, because it looks a little more appealing to the eye. So it's just a backspin. So do a backspin, and as it comes up, sheath it, don my glass, whatever, and then you unsheath it down into a figure eight, so that you could either continue doing the figure eight or do it into a senseless. And then I don't really like the Lotus, just because I don't know how to properly do it, so it just looks like I'm doing this. So yeah, that's not what it's supposed to look like. But yep, that's the Lotus. And I think I went over everything. I think I went over that. Yeah, okay. I went over all of this, all of that, all the twirls, And I did go over that. I remember that. Twirls, you guys know the senseless now. 2 ways to do it. So yeah. Now I should probably cut the... Okay, anyways. That is the end of this video. This will be part 1. I will be... I'll continue to record. But I will just cut it out to make a part 2 because it is... Because now I'm going to get into like the slashing part of it so that you can do this or that. Just because my problem with Star Wars is it's a lot of this. You know, just a lot of that. So I thought, why not just make it so that you can twirl or whatever. So you twirl your lightsaber. This could also be an attack too, if you just extend it out a little more. But yeah, that is the end of part 1.